too much success with all their insightful views. Do you grow yourself or buy from the top shelf? Are you here to take the reins and gain back your health? Whatever it is, you know the biz. Leave a like, crack a pipe, and let's get on with it. If you want to acquire the knowledge, you don't have to go to college. You can just come hang with Aaron and Dave.
Welcome to the Elevated News Podcast for Twodopedudes. We're a podcast focused on discussing local and national cannabis news and culture. I'm Aaron.
Hey, I'm Dave.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's a nice day out today. There's no snow. There might be snowing by the time you guys see this, so
Yeah,
might be getting that big winter storm.
yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
No,
No,
I'm over it.
over it already.
Done.
Shit.
Done. Thought that damn gopher or whatever. What is it?
Yeah, groundhog.
Thought we were supposed to have less winter.
I mean, it's still February. I think there's a chance of snow up until the first or second week of March.
Bro, we get snow in April sometimes around
That's
these
true.
parts.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do.
But yeah, no, things are good. How are things with you, man?
I mean, things are good, man. I've just been busy getting, Britt's house ready. One of the houses ready, getting painting there and putting stuff up here at the new house and starting to plan the outside stuff because it's going to be warm very soon and I'm going to have a lot of outside work to do. I got to prune the apple and peach trees and get the beds ready for some gardening. I think there's a couple we're going to take down and put in some newer raised beds with some galvanized steel.
Ooh.
That would be cool. Yeah, bring them higher up off the ground so it's not just wood right on the ground, and that'll allow us to put some like wood on the bottom and like pile it up and mulch and soil and all the good stuff that you want. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's super cool. I like that. Getting ready for the spring.
Better disc golfing weather too. Speaking of, thanks for inviting me yesterday, Super Bowl Sunday, to your little family affair of disc golfing there.
Nice,
that was awesome. I'm all about it.
Yeah, my shoulder feels terrible still, but
I mean, you shot decently.
I think I threw well for
yeah. I did too. I ended up down one, so I felt like I was okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's good shooting.
Yeah. So also, I want everybody in chat, please, by the time you read this, yesterday is Dave's birthday.
Whoa.
And so please, everybody say happy birthday to Dave. Whether you've met him, lucky enough to meet him at an event when he does show up, you've gotten to listen to my friend talk for almost 2 years now. And, whether you've met him or not, he's probably impacted your life if you're watching the show. So please comment, tell him happy birthday. We appreciate him.
I appreciate that a lot.
Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate you. You know it.
Yeah. Getting older, feeling it. Hurt
I'm
shoulder.
telling you. Yeah, I'm going to be 45 this year.
Oh.
I know. It's coming up quick.
One day at a time, bro.
Bro, it doesn't get any better. Once you hit 40, it doesn't get any better. It is literally that they say over the hill for a reason. Like, once you hit it, you're like, oh, I get it. I get it now. Yeah, I'm on the downward.
It's time to start putting in the extra effort for ourselves. Maybe a little extra working out. Maybe a little extra eating correct.
That's true.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, so we're gonna try and get a little shorter show in today because you got some stuff to do. Because it's one of your days off.
Yeah. So it's okay. I obligated myself to a dinner with my mother.
And that's completely fine. My point being is let's do plugs real quick, get it out of the way, get into the news, and get talking about
so good to tell you too after this. Oh, it's just
awesome.
made me happy.
Don't forget.
I won't. I promise.
Okay, write it down on your little sticky pad if you need to. Dave's got a bunch of sticky pads. We can't see it, but they're sticky pads, and they're all over his little messages, all over his monitors. And if you really want to get Dave to do something, you got to put
I
it on a
love
sticky
sticky
pad.
notes.
Yep. Sometimes I've put dates on there. I was like, you have to show up for this, and I put on a
If you
sticky
write a
note.
sticky note for me, there's a better chance.
Yeah.
That's like in the calendar for sure.
Hell yeah. All right. So you can find us, the Elevated News Podcast with Two Dope Dudes, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your other favorite streaming podcast apps. Two Dope Dudes YouTube channel, which if you're watching us, you are watching us right there, right now. Give us a like, leave a review, leave a comment. We appreciate it. It helps us reach more people. Please share with a friend. Tell somebody. Tell them to join the live chat. We appreciate you. And then support dopepeople.com, along with links to all of our other stuff. And you can buy t-shirts and hoodies and stickers and stuff like that if you'd like to support the show. We appreciate you. Thank you.
What are you doing on Thursday, friends? Would you like to see me more?
Yeah.
Come hang out.
Yep.
Peace, love, and cope on YouTube. You'll see me there live. It's just an opportunity for you to directly ask me anything about cannabis. Some things I know, and some things we have a decent crew of people around that will answer for us. So,
Absolutely.
cannabis questions live Thursday night. It's a good place.
Yeah, you can ask Dave anything about cannabis.
You can ask me anything about anything, really.
Sure.
You get a live reaction no matter what it is.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get crazy people. Anyway, how do you feel about olives?
A lot of crazies. That's okay. Love them.
You like mangoes?
Hey, and I'll smoke with them too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
get
all
this.
love.
No, what I was gonna tell you though that was awesome. I often am the victim of not victim. I am the carrier outer of road raging. It's not that I'm just raging inside of my machine, right? I'm not out there going whatever, but I definitely you motherfucking son of a get the fuck out of the way, you know? And I had one
Me
of those
too.
moments earlier. I came out, get out of the way, and then I got right next to the person. They had like real tinted out windows. But like because I wear polarized, I can at least see that like that reflective layer is not there, so I can see outlines. And the person was smoking a fatty bong. It was tall as shit, and I could see them like roasting the bong back this way. And like immediately, I was like, "Oh, you're good." Just I immediately, and then like in my head, I was like, "Oh." I went from so raged to like, "No, you're completely fine, bro. Do whatever you want." And then I was like sitting there going, "Man, that guy's smoking a bong driving down the road, and I'm far more comfortable with him doing whatever the fuck he's doing now than before when I was pissed off at him." And I was like, "Man, isn't cannabis just the best?" Yeah,
it is. Yeah, you're like, hey, that's one of our people.
I was like, okay.
I definitely know some guys who roll down the street with a bong all the time.
Smoking endo, sipping on gin and juice.
If that is you, you're on another level. Honestly, you're different. You're built differently.
Hey, listen, this is not the place where we're recommending you do that. I quite honestly might recommend the opposite of that. Like if you can't bong just at your house or when you get to where you're going,
right,
bong might not be the choice of smoking things.
I mean, I definitely know plenty of stoners that are bongsters. You know what I mean? They're for sure.
Yeah. I like a good dirty glass pipe, you know?
Ew.
Oh, it makes my lungs happy just talking about it. It's been so long since I've smoked a
when was the last time you were at my friend's house? Because that would have been the last time you smoked a dirty ass glass pipe. And I know he doesn't watch the show, so I don't give a shit. I talk shit to him all the time. I'm like, I'll bring my own glass, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, I at least clean my pipes, so I guess dirty ass is not the way to describe it, but I like a just glass pipe, man.
Yeah.
Some about
It
the
doesn't have
class
to be like
go,
fresh and clean, but like if you got a water pipe, I don't want to see the gunkies floating around. That's gross.
yeah, it's a little different.
Like put new water in it. Change your damn water.
Listen, concentrate's a little different though, man. It's harder to, I mean, it's not harder. You're just being lazier about it. You can change your water every
Sure.
single day in a concentrate pipe. It is just gonna get some, it's gonna get thick unless you put that rubbing alcohol and salt in there. You know what I mean?
Or if you have really hot water,
Really hot.
really hot. If
But
you
if
have a
you
boiler system at your house, it works
listen,
fantastic.
if you're a terrible human who only buys $18 Amazon pipes, you know, you can't really put very hot water on your stuff because it will
Sure.
break it. So
That's crazy.
rubbing alcohol and salt does wonders for,
Yeah, absolutely. Sea
yeah.
salt. Yeah, you just need something coarse and, absolutely.
Speaking of, cheers, friends.
Cheers.
Um,
Uh, let's get into YouTube comments real
oh,
quick.
look at how cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Matrograms,
Whoa.
two dopest dudes in Chicago.
I don't
Much love, brothers.
love that
It's the
guy.
homie. John Voight, you experienced firsthand today what I'm doing during chats. I'm just there working. John was over at our other spot, helping do some carpentry work. And
Oh,
during the
that's
premiere, and I
fantastic.
was there with him. The Shadow 3001, great show, great insight. Thank you, The Shadow.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. And then we had some, here's people in the live chat: John, Mr. Rourke, Kind Buds, Dank Nugs, Willy Wonka, Steve, Daily Homegrown, Gary Cornett, always,
Wow.
Rochelle, Elisa, who I saw Saturday night at the Honeycomb, or no, it was not the Honeycomb Hideout. It was Sessions in Carroll Stream, Charlie's spot, who I also saw Charlie be there, who's a commenter and a watcher who came up and introduced himself to me.
That's so awesome.
He asked me a question about Minnesota micro licenses and if I knew anything about them. And I told him I was going to look into Minnesota micro licenses more and let him know. Of course, Goat came by, Pete from Heisenturp Brothers. I think that was it. Hell yeah.
What a squad. How
Yeah, what
cool.
a squad, right?
And honestly, there's been a lot of these names that you're mentioning there have stopped over into me doing things on Thursday night. It's super
Mm-hmm.
appreciated. Listen, you ain't got to sit there and listen to me rant forever, but stopping in
Right.
and giving your insight and perspective is super cool. And I appreciate all of you for doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we always appreciate it, and shout out to all those people. We got some cool news today. Some news that we always talk about, but it's always fun. Let's see here.
Whoa.
So, there we go.
Oh, here we go.
Illinois monthly medical cannabis sales dipped to lowest since 2019. The Illinois Department of Public Health released its January 2025 medical cannabis sales totals. Illinois kicked off the year with the lowest monthly total since July 2019.
Wow.
2019. And it shows right over here 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Like,
Well, the amount of med patients that I see coming in and buying from the rec side of
right.
things, I'm to those people, and it sucks because I work at a dispensary that doesn't have it, but I'm begging you, continue your journey to these. I mean, it sucks though because medical dispensaries aren't even getting the product that these people need. So like,
Right.
it sucks, man. Illinois just needs to hurry up and get to the point where all medical patients only pay medical taxes. This 40% is ridiculous.
I
And a lot of them can justify because the sales on
mm,
the cannabis and whatever's going on kind of comes close, right? To where driving across town to the medical place because they're so few and far between. In some instances, we get a little more saturated by where we're at, but there's so many like
no, I
holes in the thing. Yeah,
I
people are
think if
just
we're going to
traveling.
do that, we need to do that as its own actual bill instead of putting it in a cannabis omnibus and passing a bunch of other things that don't have anything to do with this. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? They're
yeah,
just throwing it in, and then we, as the medical patients or caregivers, get screwed. Or the dispensary owners get screwed because it's in an omnibus with a bunch of other stuff that may or may not get passed, may not be good for us, and then it's held up on that, which is ridiculous that politics works that way anyway.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. With this thing here, it's just sad that you would be willing. Well, but we also never mind. I don't want to get too into it because I'm disappointed in all of healthcare and like
Sure.
that's why I always say like take your health back into your own hands. At least you have one opportunity to take some aspect of what's going on in the healthcare world and
Right.
taking care of it yourself, right? Like to always not be able to do it and to always need somebody else to come take care of your health is
Right.
it's a
Well, I
bad
mean,
way to take care of your health,
you should
personally,
not
if you
rely on
ask me.
other people. You know what I mean, for that. And
Yeah.
then our 2024 recreational cannabis sales top 1.72 billion. I thought we were going to break 2 billion.
Well, and here's the thing, dude, that well, in bingo, right?
Mhm.
Um, we were on par to do on pace to do whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but this here now instead of us just saying numbers, we can look at the actual thing right there.
Right.
In 2020 to 2021, there
Mhm.
were 0 more dispensary licenses that went out, right? Or maybe it
Right.
was a few. Might have been
Right.
fucking whatever. But from then, we've doubled the market, 2.5 times what the market had license-wise, and the numbers have only gone from 1.37 billion to 1.72 billion.
Right. So we did not hit 2 billion, which is but sales tax collected at Illinois cannabis dispensaries totaled more than 490 million in 2024. That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, we went from does that say we went from 244? So we went from 110 dispensaries to
Yes.
244. They opened 134 social equities spots.
Mhm. 70
And
applicants selected in the 2022 social equity lotteries are still in the process of receiving their full dispensary licenses from the Illinois Department of Financial Professional Regulation, as are the 51 applicants selected in the social equity criteria lottery in July 2023. The
oh
department will
my,
continue to issue full adult use cannabis dispensary licenses as applicants meet the final licensing criteria. So they're not going to issue any more licenses until the other ones are coming on board. That's what they're saying.
I mean, the thing is, bro, like it's what I don't know.
So
Who's gonna never
these
mind.
are some things that I wanted to highlight that I thought were actually interesting. This is what JB Pritzker says. The numbers are clear. 5 years after we legalized adult use cannabis in Illinois, we're seeing the economic impact of a thriving cannabis industry, said Pritzker. With $2 billion in record-setting sales and $490 million generated in tax revenue, our first-in-the-nation equity-focused cannabis industry is a result of my administration's policies, which prioritize repairing the damage done by the failed war on drugs, creating more good-paying jobs, and building a safe, equitable, and prosperous business sector, making Illinois by far the national leader in diverse ownership in this industry. Can we break this down? What he's actually saying instead of the kind of double speak that he's saying.
Do
Uh,
you want to know what it is?
I mean,
We put up
yeah,
a lot of regulations that said you have
sure.
to tick all of these socially
Uh
equitable
huh.
boxes or you can't get one of these licenses. So now because of him forcing everybody to have a veteran and a patient and a person of color, a person affected by the war on drugs, uh, somebody that was, it's all of the identity politics
Sure.
bullshit that has continually been pushed for as long as it has. Now, those are the licenses that he's so happy to rest
Yes.
his hat on awarding, but
Right.
also in a manner that has witnessed so many of them fail, and behind his slow implementation of new rules, he will watch many more of them fail.
Hmm.
And he gets to go on record to go, look at what we've done. We're thriving. You're
Well,
far from thriving. You're
yeah.
half of what Michigan is. Michigan has less of a population than we do. There's no way that we should be getting outsold cannabis by a state that has less population when we have a consistency in use in adults over the age of
Right.
21. It's not like because of borders we've stopped that. It seems to be a consistency. So
Well,
anyway, it just blows my mind.
he's talked about how we benefit from other states not being our border states not being legal, and how we take their out of state tax money and use it to inflate our coffers. But here he says, "Our first in the nation." That means we're the only ones, right? We're the first ones. We're the only ones in the
To
nation.
force you to have
Equity focused cannabis industry. Okay, so we're an equity focused cannabis industry, and we're the first in the nation. Just remember that. We've prioritized repairing the damage done by the failed war on drugs. Yes, the damage done by the failed war on drugs for the state is that the state and the law enforcement does not get to make as much money off of people that they are putting in jail and enforcing laws and regulations on. So they are using the cannabis tax money to fund police and laws that actually criminalize cannabis. Okay. Create more good paying jobs. Yes, all these state jobs regulating the cannabis industry are probably good paying.
I would
I don't
imagine those
I
guys
don't
do well.
I have some friends that work for dispensaries as bud tenders. I'm not even talking about Dave, but like other people, they don't say that they make very good money. Now, the benefits are pretty good.
Comparatively to
Uh,
maybe a
If
entry
you're a
level
stoner,
Walmart job,
sure,
yeah, you're
sure,
doing better. But comparatively to an entry level forklift driver job, you're
right,
probably losing, right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
w
number one, it's retail. So like whether you're
bingo,
working at Best Buy, Home Depot,
bingo.
Verano, Rise,
Yeah.
whatever, it's all the same thing. Um, Building a safe, equitable, and well, safe, that has to do with their made up testing. We're testing for things that, yeah, probably aren't generally in cannabis anyway, but you know, probably don't make a whole lot of difference when it comes down to it. Like, I'm sure some of it's good, but like we're just making stuff up. Like, hey, cannabis shouldn't have this. Yeah, that's right. Well, let's make it sure it really doesn't have any of it. Okay, well, we're the safest now. Well, that kind of doesn't make any sense, does it?
What my favorite word in all of this is equity, right?
Yeah,
Like,
equitable, because we're very socially equitable and prosperous business sector, making
socially
Illinois
equitable is a very interpretable. It's just
sure.
equity
How can
is
we be the
the
national
quality of
leader
what's that?
how can we be the leader in diverse ownership, but we're also, don't forget, we're the first in the nation equity focused cannabis industry. So we are
Well,
also the
because
leader because
equity
we're the first.
here's the thing, equity carries it's funny, right? Because
Hmm.
the quality of being fair and impartial, or the second meaning of it, the value of shares issued by a company. So it's funny that like the value of something and the fairness of something somehow link by the same fucking word. But then like what fairness is there in are forced to be all of these things, right? Like
Sure.
theoretically, if you and I, who
Yeah.
are I can represent cannabis fine. I think as
Mhm.
far as purchasing, keeping a zero discrepancy or a zero
Mhm.
variance
Sure.
vault, I've been able to prove that for a very
Yeah.
long time. There's plenty of stats that I could throw at people
Yeah.
to make you go, wow, you might be a great person to own a dispensary, to run that could be your
Sure.
business, whatever. I'm not the
Mm.
equity, the fairness. I am not any of the boxes that need to be ticked to be fair
Well,
enough to enter this market, which is
because
the
what
weirdest
they
thing
call
to me
equity
because
is
there's
not
no
actually it's
what's
not
that?
actually equity. What they call equity is not actual equity. Not like for sure the people who are most affected by the war on drugs should have been in the market first, but
But
the
to have
state is the
to
one who lied to you. It's oh, don't get me wrong, like I'm not talking bad about the social equity companies that are have won those licenses and should be in the market. I want you to be in the market. I want you to be open. I want to support you.
but
My problem is the state has used you as a scapegoat. You
what
know what I
I'm
mean?
telling you right now, hear me out. I
Hmm.
promise you, and I'm not saying this because I'm not it's
No,
just
I
the truth.
yeah.
You had to have somebody who was of color. You
Hmm.
had to have somebody who was affected by the war on drugs. You had to have
Correct.
somebody who was a veteran. You
Hmm.
had to have somebody. So now you're forcing people to tick all these boxes, right?
Hmm.
And if you didn't have one of these 10 characteristics or whatever, you lost points.
Hmm.
So everybody who was able to go, oh, I've got all these officers or whatever who tick the boxes, now he can go prove himself. Look at me, hoorah! I got all these ticked boxes for you to show you that we're so diverse and we have so much equity or whatever. Whilst literally the people who I'm witnessing with my eyes, who own these licenses, who have
Hmm.
whatever,
Multiple licenses.
well, dude, and that's just it. How many are they allowed to have compared to the other? And then like it's like
I
some
mean, a different
we're doing
business is a different business.
what's that?
A different business name is a different business name. So,
No,
you
and you
know,
who's to tell me that I'm not allowed to be a manager of something, right?
sure.
From a distance, I can be a consultant or a something of that nature.
Hmm.
There's plenty of opportunities for things to happen where the people who are on paper, and I'm witnessing it around me directly by the people who are applying, by people that I see on a day-to-day basis, by the people that
Hmm.
I'm interacting through with from this podcast.
Hmm.
I'm seeing people who literally are getting out of these small little percent ownerships of whatever
Hmm.
because they were the little piece of
That's right.
equity that
Hmm.
this company needed to take the license, and then they squeeze the juice out of
Yep.
these mofos and go,
Yep.
here's your thing, you're a part owner,
Yep.
fucking less than 1% or whatever the fuck it is. You're a part owner, you need to show up as an owner, and you need to do all of these things, and we'll pay. Well, you know that we're not making a lot of money, so we'll pay you when we make money too. It's like Jesus Christ. They're juicing it,
Yep.
dude. They're taking it from both ends. And it's like, I don't know, man. There's like this thing that's going on where it's like I just wish um
It's because there's no money in it because we're not actually creating money or an economy.
no,
We're creating
there's
it's
money
tax
in it, but
revenue.
I understand why, and I'm not even mad
Sure.
at it. I just wish that the problem is the access allowed to by the government. It has shit all to do. I want the fucking monsters who can go be monsters, go build a 10 million fucking square foot. I don't give a flying fuck.
Right.
Build the biggest factory, a giga factory. Okay, that's what they call them, giga factories. Build the fuck out of this thing and grow as much weed as you can. If it sucks, it will fucking fail on its own. It
Yep.
doesn't matter anymore. Once you allow the market to be the market and to do the thing, everybody's going, "Oh, well, they got too much. They got 220,000 square feet. We're only giving 5,000 square feet. It's my
Hmm.
you guys are preventing me from doing." Dude, all the
Right.
access sucks to it.
Yep.
If you immediately went from 5,000 square feet, could you even handle 220,000? The answer is fucking no. And I'm
No.
not saying that to be rude to you, unless you've been a vertically integrated, somebody who's been able to handle that much of a product, you're probably not going to do it well.
Right.
And the amount of remediation that would have to go into your product to allow it to exist is now what we see in Michigan and everybody hates on.
Yep.
Oh, everybody here calls some bullshit mold counts. If whatever, dude, we allow they still have testing standards and they're still
Right.
forced to test shit. But I don't know, man. Until we have a better access to everything, or people are allowed to do, because if we're saying, okay, these guys that are doing it well right now, according to what I'm saying, these 220,000 square foot people or whatever, even if they're doing it well, they're still remediation factories.
Right.
There's still people who are missing the testing at some point, and then, or they're aphid kush or mite cookies, whatever the fuck they're growing, has so much infestation to it that the only thing you can do from there is to just blast the shit out of it. It's just a big recycling system. And
Did you see this? This is from Bedford Grow. So we've been talking about remediation for a while. Other people have talked about remediation. Another people came out with this new group of companies, like a seal or a certification for people who do not remediate. And it's turned into this whole discussion off of ill trees, and Cole Memo did a thing on it as well. Bedford Grow does not remediate, which I believe my buddy who used to be the head grower over there told me they did not as well. Remediation is a process of removing contaminants such as mold, mildew, and other pathogens from cannabis leaves and buds. Types of remediation: radiation, ozone treatment, heat treatment, ultraviolet. Also, washing cannabis in baking powder and lemon juice. That is also a form of remediation. Remediation is just removing an environmental uh, affliction.
and
That's all remediation is.
am I wrong? Please, because in my
And I would
brain
not say
for
that all
forever,
remediation would degrade the quality of the bud. Uh, I would say these types, yes, but I would
well,
not say that all types.
it's there's a lot to be said, right? Because again, this could be where, like, Alex was a great conversation, right? Because what is presented to you at the end, as long as it's cleaned up in the cleanest way, as a scientist, as
Right.
somebody who has
Sure.
actually been able to go take away all of the contaminants, all the whatever, and strip it down to the cleanest form of whatever it is
Right.
that a bad thing? And for me, as somebody who's trying to give somebody access to a quality product, I would say maybe not, right? Even right. Like, I'm not saying that it can't be quality if it's clean.
Sure.
If it's clean
But I mean,
properly,
Dave,
it's
how
clean
how
properly.
much cannabis have you and I smoked in our lifetime that's never been tested? We would
Oh
never
my
even think
god.
about testing it. Okay, so what I'm saying is that just because we have the strictest testing standards, it doesn't mean anything. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad. I'm just saying, like, just because we start testing for, this is where the stuff in the pandemic got weird. Like, just because we're testing for something doesn't mean that it's necessarily something we need to be testing for. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that's not the point I was trying to make, but I had a point there. But like, just because we start testing for something doesn't mean that it's never been there or won't be there, or like, you know what I mean?
No, and I just, the point that I was trying to make too is that, like, we're all going, oh my god, what's in the thing that's going to give me cancer, right? Because if it's
It's
not the
probably not
cleanest organic.
remediation. It's just that if you're having to remediate your cannabis all the time, then there's something wrong with the process, the way that you have to grow. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you as a grower, maybe it means the process that we are required to use because of the way the state guidelines are. Maybe that's actually the discussion that we should be having. Why are companies required to grow in this way and keep failing and having to remediate? Maybe that's the discussion we should have
Well,
instead of
and
put it on. Why are we putting it on the company? Why not put it on the state who says this is the way you have to do it, and this is the way the market is because this is the way we say it has to be.
well, and
So,
that's it is.
I mean,
It
yeah.
is in essence, the state has said this is what you're supposed to do or you're allowed to do, but it's,
Since when does the state know how to grow cannabis better than cannabis growers?
I mean, since when did they tell you how much carrying around is, like
100%.
we're I think that's yeah. I think it's very.
The one thing I did want to, I didn't want to lose on the end of what Pritzker was saying there is, but the governor said while he's pleased with the continued success of cannabis sales and revenues in Illinois, the market is being undermined by the proliferation of the unregulated intoxicating hemp market. Licensed cannabis businesses comply with strict state regulations, pay significant taxes, and undergo rigorous product testing, he
Okay,
said.
and they're the same assholes who are trying to get into the unregulated, intoxicating hemp market. They're the
Correct.
ones with the most money to put towards this
Correct.
thing, and they're piggybacking the brands that they have made in these licensed cannabis business. Fuck you, Pritzker, and you little chunky fuck. This is crazy, dude. It's
This
crazy that you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want to say, but then like none of it holds any merit. There's no truth. Like
okay.
there's so much
So
other end of this.
what is the governor's job? The governor's job is to basically enforce the laws of the state and be the CEO of the state, right? Same as the president. Everybody gets really riled up about what the president is and isn't going to do. The president's job is to enforce the laws. The laws are enacted by Congress,
Yeah,
and
thousand
the
percent.
judges rule on the laws. So like they don't have, I mean, like they only have the power that the Congress affords them, is what I'm saying.
It's
And
more
Congress is by the will of the
the
people.
but to a degree, because that's why we have the checks and balances we do
Mm-hmm.
in the government. If we
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about the positives, the things that could be very
Sure.
good, and the things that have actually made this a far better country than not to, there's no other place I'd want to live personally.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the fails of these checks and balances are this. It's that
Sure.
this man is
100%.
allowed to
I agree.
say whatever the fuck he wants about this market that he's so proud of.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh man, it's just
Well,
kicking fucking
because
ass. But then watch
what he's
out because
saying is not, it's, just because it's true doesn't mean that it's factual. And just because it's factual doesn't mean that it's true. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I just think that the cold roboticness
Mm-hmm.
of what happens the further you get disassociated
Yep.
from the truth, right? And
Yep.
I talked about this in a work setting the other day where like depending on how good you are of just a natural human and how much you're willing to do, the further you go up in the scale, the more work you should be doing, the more you're responsible for. But it's really hard to then maybe do all of the work, right? Like I struggle taking care of one thing, and then you go
Mm-hmm.
up, and now you got to take care of four things, right? But then, and then like so now you start to go like, okay, I'm faking it till I'm fucking making it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that disassociation that's going on, and it becomes cold, right? There becomes a robotic. I just have to say what I have to say to get to the next point. I'm not going to let you take my title away from me. I'm
Right.
not going to let you take a shot at me. You're inferior. You're a nothing. I can take this job from you. I can do all that fucking aggressive power, whatever
Yeah.
that coldness that continues to happen in the separation is where I think a lot of us fall. It's like, dude, you're the guy who has the opportunity to actually make the differences. And
Yep.
when we see you pull these triggers, and not only pull the triggers on signing your name and actually implementing shit, but to go out into the public's face and to go, oh, we're socially equitable and we're the best one. We're the first in the nation. We're so good. And on my watch, we've changed
Well,
you're trying to push a narrative,
yep.
but the narrative you're pushing isn't for any level of equity because we're
Correct.
losing all of our fucking money to other states. The only money we're able to capture is the fucking borders that we're, and that's going to leave soon too.
I
Like,
mean, we can already see it. And that's kind of the whole point about our news stories today. He finished up by saying the unchecked market not only undercuts legal operators, but also puts consumers at risk by flooding the industry with untested, potentially unsafe products. He's been very vocal about the concerns over the unregulated, but legal by the federal government. It is unregulated, but legal.
yeah,
And he said,
unregulated by them, which means that they're not allowed to put 40% fucking taxes on it
correct.
like they did in this
Correct.
equitably social
So,
equity for who?
because
Shares of the
if he
industry
doesn't,
for who? You
if he
made it
doesn't,
equitable for yourselves as the state.
right,
You found out how to take equity out of
correct,
it as a
right,
non-player. You do nothing for it outside of regulate, which your regulations aren't scientifically backed.
right,
They're not mathematically provable. The
right,
shit that you're doing for the plant isn't for the plant. It's a
correct.
straight fail
That's my
all the way through.
that's my point about testing. That's literally my point about testing. You can point and say we have the strictest regulations, but like, what does that actually mean? Because if we actually stop and talk about what's actually going on in the state and use plain words, like what we're trying to show here is that the numbers are going down. They're upset about people who are actually making money and they're not getting to tax.
What we did was use the most words, okay, and we forced the most to happen. We put the most barriers to entry, and then we go, oh, look at us for doing such a good job and making this, in which we're trying to paint this picture of diversity and inclusion.
Right.
And the people who just got included are failing. The people who just got included because of their skin color or their willingness to fucking go to war or the fact that their brother got a fucking DUI with weed in his fucking car. That is the difference in why these people got these licenses. And it's not based off of the progression of an industry. That's where this fail is coming from for me. We're not trying to progress an industry. There's no, outside of making the government more money, nobody gives a shit about and then it's really just license fighting amongst the rest of people because they know that that's the way that they get the most market representation. And it's not even based off of quality of product or no, it's literally just this like, well, you were, fucking colorful enough to get in. You were fucking, whatever, dude. It's such a stupid barrier to entry. For a thing that at this point is being regulated under multiple names, under multiple classifications, by every different set of borders. The fucking governing law says it's good. You can do it. But then we're coming in here going, well, it's not regulated. What fucking more do you need regulated outside
you can't really regulate nature anyway. Just because you make a law and regulate something and say that it is a certain way doesn't mean that nature is going to agree with you.
Well, and in that too,
you know what I mean?
One of the points that I was trying to make in this remediation talk is that removing the bugs that go onto the plant is a remediation of sorts. It's not the same level of introduction of something. Well, because that's what you could do. But
that is remediation by definition.
Well, and that's the thing though. Can we see the nests of the eggs that they've put inside these things? And no. So the best way to get rid of all of this stuff to make sure that it's a reasonably consumable product is to kill that shit off. Right. And I'm not,
usually
as the
they
consumer,
just use CRC.
What's that?
Usually they just use like CRC and make it into concentrate. They don't talk about that.
And that's my whole point. Right. Like as long as we can but even then, there's probably more small bugs and things of natures
Mhm.
that get through some of the smoking or some of the flowers that were
Sure.
whatever, they get trapped in the little buds in the
Yeah.
corners, and we smoke some bugs, I'm sure, right? There's some level of give and take that I'm willing to do with this thing where I don't really care, right?
Yeah.
But I also am like weirded out by like everybody going, remediation, remediation, remediation. I'm going, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I would rather somebody get rid of the bullshit if that's what
Yeah.
it is. When everybody goes, well, just grow quality shit and make sure you do it because all the
Okay.
standards.
Why doesn't the state allow us to grow quality cannabis then? Let's talk about that.
Well, and the thing is, I think that in some places, in some environments,
Mhm.
okay, I will specifically give you Colorado for my instance because I believe we came
They have
in
a
at something like 5 parts per million or 10 parts per million or 50 parts per million, whatever, right? Colorado was 50, 100, or 500. It was 10x whatever the fuck we had, okay? And it might have been 800. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Whatever it was, we had a 10x less parts per million butane or hydrocarbon allotment. It was butane specifically was the one that I was speaking. We had 10x less, where when the initial extractors came to the state and I was speaking to them, they said we didn't even know if we'd be able to clean this stuff and give a representable enough product without doing some weird shit, keeping butane around at least. In the beginning of Illinois' market was when I was traveling. I went, excuse me, I went to Colorado like 3 times.
Mhm.
The concentrate that we were getting in Colorado, the shatter, the wax,
Yep.
the BHO, the butane extracted concentrate that I was consuming from
Mhm.
that part of the country or this part of the country. Now, granted, they've been doing it for 10 more years, so maybe they
Oh,
just
they
have
got
refined extraction
they
processes
do.
or whatever.
That's where Miles and those guys are from.
Bingo.
Miles and Nooch Grows and Portal Provisions, all those hash guys are out there. That's definitely
We
what it is.
it was infinitely
Mhm. Mhm.
better of a product out there. There was way more of a robust flavor
Profile. Yep.
profile.
100%.
There was just a
Consistency.
cleanness and a rawness. I
Mhm.
can't explain it outside
Mhm.
of just using these in words that but there was a difference to what I was smoking out there and what I was smoking back here when I was going, man, what the fuck's the difference there? And then it took me sitting in front of other scientists, legitimate people who
Mhm.
understand this plant very well, and went,
Sure.
well, maybe through the vac oven or whatever it is that we're using to extract those butanes out, we may be we're definitely getting rid of more terpenoids, right? Because they're
Mhm.
far more volatile and at less um with less manipulation we can
Right.
destroy them. So like if we have to do 10x the destruction to get rid of the same amount or to get to that level
Yep.
of,
Yep.
how much have we degraded the product by?
Mhm.
Where with certain levels of standards, which I think Colorado followed OSHA or something of that nature,
Sure.
with that being you able to breathe the shit in constantly 10 hours a day, all right, comparatively to us having 1 gram with that concentration in it that we're allowed to breathe over, how long that we consume the gram, right? So
Right.
the sciences and the maths behind just were mind boggling to me. Why we're allowed to work inside environments that have these restrictions, but then the thing that we're allowed to consume that is being restricted at the same rate is like now being restricted 10x that
Mhm.
for and now everybody's going, okay, well, it's dangerous if not. This is my whole point is like everybody goes, oh, well, if it's not organic and it's not good. And trust me, all of these growing processes are fine because I've seen people who grow organic fine. I've seen people who grow hydroponically fine. I see people who grow aeroponically fine. I see people who are growing in whatever different mediums that they've grown in. Coke goes in soils,
water,
and
hydro.
Literally every.
I know
I've
people
seen
grow
so many.
clean medicine with hydro. You can grow it if you're growing clean medicine. You're growing clean medicine.
Bingo.
Period.
And if
I
you're
don't care
good
how
at
you
what you're
grow.
doing,
Are you growing clean medicine?
some people just make, and even then, regardless if it's clean or not, give me some of that good shit. I don't give a fuck. That's what I think I'm committing to, and what you said at the beginning. How much have we smoked before
Right.
that was never tested, never regulated, didn't get
Right.
40% taxed, didn't
Right.
whatever? Imagine if you went to your boy back in the day and he said, "Hey man, your bag's $100, but I need 40. Also extra. It's going to be 140 instead."
Shit.
You would have been like, "What the fuck? What do you mean?"
Do you want
Well,
to
no.
get
Well, the
do you want to
100
get
is because that's
punched
how
in the
much.
face right now?
What's that?
I'd be
Yeah,
like, do you want to
exactly.
get punched in the face right now?
Well,
Like, are you
well,
crazy?
well, 100 is because that's how much it costs. 40 is
Right.
because if you don't give it to me, I'll put you in jail.
That's
I'll
right.
lock you up. I'll kidnap your
Mhm.
bitch ass.
That's right.
I will incriminate you. I will
That's right.
dog your name. I'll take your
Mhm.
finances. I'll
Mhm.
do everything to you
Mhm.
because I'm in control here. What the fuck I would have
Because
been like, bro, I'm giving me a different dealer, dog.
right.
And that's the whole thing. That's what this state has continually pushed is like, we're going to be your fucking dealers. And if not, you're still a criminal to us. We don't give a fuck. We're still going to tax you no matter what. We don't give a fuck. But look at us. We're equitable. We're social. Mm-mm-mm. Pritzker, bro. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
I
just heated
mean,
by it because it's
you should be.
not
I mean,
for
but
us.
that's what the state is. Like, if you understand what the state is, that's what the state's job is.
It's not
So,
for us, and it's not for the plant,
no, for sure.
right?
It's for
If
taxes.
if
It's
anything.
for, the legalized threat of force by
I
violence.
would defend the shit out of all of us, but when all that shit comes at us, I'm like, I don't even know. I just put my hands up. Hopefully, you don't fucking shoot me too. You know what I mean? But at the other end of it is like, I would love to defend the fucking plant. It's a very measurable thing. It's not like this thing that needs to be open to interpretation or speculation anymore. We understand what it's doing. And by
Right.
using these scary words and forcing people who don't know to get out there and vote, because if you don't, that devil's lettuce will come back and it won't be this good, regulated, clean process that we've made it now. It'll turn right back into the war on drugs. And
Mhm.
if as long as they've got the fucking masses still mind controlled, and
Right.
it's not even that you need the masses, you just need a few.
No, well,
At
I
this
mean,
point, make a few fucking people
this
bark loud enough and you're fucked.
the state uses force and coercion for control to control people. That's what they do. That's what the state is. You know,
Hey,
they're the only ones who get revenue by force rather than voluntary payment.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a human a human force used used to regulate people's actions.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. Well, hey,
it's yeah.
listen, no matter what, I hope that you get the access to the cannabis. I
Mhm.
think I think one of the best statements, and I'll just keep saying it because it was
Yep,
great. Vote with your wallet. It's the
that's
best
right.
way to vote sometimes.
Correct.
Um, know what it is that you're allowed to do and not. I'm sure that at some point you rub the wrong fucking person wrong, and
Yep.
just no matter what, they're gonna fucking try and do whatever, right? We
Yep.
still see this strong arming and whatever out there in the world. I just think that it would be very nice if at some point we stopped the regulations and the continuously progressive regulations on this plant that is otherwise not that fucking harmful.
Let's
Not
just
that scary.
let's just have some actual common sense regulations. Like, I'm okay with some common sense regulations. I just don't think they need to be one way or another. I think it's actually I think we should have less regulations, but you know,
Especially over this plant. Jesus
especially over
H.
this plant.
Louises.
It's ridiculous.
Wild.
But hey,
No, your terpenes.
that's gonna be the new thing. So know your terps with Dave. We're getting into the secondary ones now, but I think I picked a fun one.
Yeah, we're gonna and I love that it is too, because it bingo.
Yep.
We went with camphene today.
Right.
All right. Camphene carries an aroma that is earthy, musky, with notes of fir needles. The effects are antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
The anti-list for these different terpenoids is awesome, because a lot of times that is their defense mechanism for the plants that they're part of
Mm-hmm.
to begin with, right? It's to make sure that the plant doesn't get bacteria or fungus,
Right.
or it's these plants are naturally protectant. The chemicals that we are consuming are naturally protectant of the plants.
Mm-hmm.
It happens that we have a regulatory system that is benefited by the introduction of
Right.
these chemicals from the plant. The terpenoids that we speak on, know your terpenes with good old us, they tend to then have an overlapping
Mm-hmm.
of things that come up.
Right.
One we see a lot is anti-inflammatory,
Mm-hmm.
which is beautiful, right?
Yep.
I think as a whole, we've consistently said that there is anti-inflammatory aspects across the board with this plant. If
Especially
all of us
CBD.
are under this constant pressure that is, the gravity, we will continually be a inflamed
Mm-hmm.
creature,
Yep.
especially while our diets are shit and whatever also.
Correct.
Which then brings us into a very cool aspect of camphene, right? Where it might assist in reducing cholesterol levels, right?
Yeah.
When there's really neat parts of this plant that may be helping other parts of our health, right?
That's right.
Ancillary things, cholesterol levels is crazy as hell, right?
Yeah.
How neat is it to then consider the idea of the entourage effect? I don't need to know precisely, where I've said forever, if this is what the public wants, is I need 37% THC and no less. Always. Okay. If you need to constantly be telling me specifically what you want, then I want the Burger King of cannabis, right? I want you to have it your way. Let me get just little different molecules of different little whatever. We'll take them in the back, just like the e-juice places used to do back in the
Yup.
day. I'll take a little bit of this flavoring, a little bit of that flavoring. I'll put a few drops of nicotine in there, and then bazinga, I'll stir it up for you, and now you have your concoction. The same things could be done inside these cannabis facilities, whatever. Oh, you want 10% CBN and 70% THC and
I love it.
20% or 10% CBD, and then the rest 10% terpenoids. Which terpenoids do you want? Let's break down that
Right.
profile. 10% this, 10%. Okay, fine. If that's what it is that you think that you need
Yep.
to get to the point of comforts that you're looking for, when we're merely talking symptom alleviation most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going above and beyond, right? I think you're
Right.
doing overboard, but that's you. You can do whatever you
Sure.
want. When we're talking condition treatment and we're trying to be more scientific in it, and that's where Alex's conversation said the other day, he's like,
Right.
what's the difference, right? Not enough people are able to even be scientific in it. We're not able to measure the directness of what we're doing. So why even pretend to be that? Why not understand that we're within a range of something? Know that there is benefit to having A, B, C, and D.
Mm-hmm.
The cannabinoids, the terpenoids, the flavonoids,
Right.
the methods of ingestions, understanding that there's benefit in any of it, and then going, okay, I'll take the alleviations of the whole.
Right.
And this is why so many people don't care what they have. Just give me something.
Yeah.
If it's something, it's beneficial enough to me, right? Because if I'm getting a little bit of it and it has some campheine in it and it has some
Mhm.
terpenoline in it and it has some beta caryophyllene in it, has some THC, a little bit of CBN, a little CBD, THCV, CBG. Okay, we got all that. We got a little bit of all of it. Well, then fuck it, man. What's the
Yeah.
difference? I'm going to get some benefit from it.
Mhm.
And I will buy my nose if I'm allowed to,
Mhm.
or buy maybe just ingestion of any sort. I will figure out that that is what I want more than what I don't. And a
Right.
lot of times, this thing right here on our face does enough for all of us to go, yep, that's it.
Yep.
I'll at least
Absolutely.
try it. I'm
Yeah.
not scared of that one. And that one smells more like the things that I've liked in the past and that I've had success with. So why not? And then why are we calling it anything else? You know? So like,
Marketing.
uh, you know, and again, I'm both, it's both directions. There's no right answer to what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't pick a side. Just understand that there's both of it. And like, we could be very, very direct in this, and
Mhm.
maybe it's more beneficial. We could be very, very bland in this,
Mhm.
and actually, because there is some of these excess things that aren't going to be picked up by you trying to individually nitpick everything, then maybe it's more beneficial to be entourage effect and whole plant and
Sure.
for show and whatever, right? Who knows what the actual truth of this is? As much as we know the truth is
Right.
anti-inflammatory,
Mhm.
anti-spastic,
Mhm.
great for fucking mood elevation and regulation, and the list is of a laundry sort. But um, campheine, if you're able to get you some of it
Yeah.
directly,
Yeah, if you see it,
uh,
or if you're just interested in trying it, you should know what they are. And
yeah,
that's all we're trying to do.
yeah.
Hell yeah. We love you all. Smoke weed every day.
Hey guys, I love you all. Miss you already.
Peace.
Bye.
Yo, ding dong, we're done here. Time to go.